tough way for the season to end. Obviously, in a game this tight and this low scoring, free throws even that much more critical.
Absolutely. First, a credit to St. Bonaventure. You know, they have 5 seniors, and they played like experienced seniors. They made all their big free throws, and they made some 2 tough threes. I think that were pretty well defended. You know, again, you can only go in real time. So they made the big shots when we were up 4 or 5, and they hit them. We'll see on the calls and all that. That hurt for Reese to pick up his 5th call. That was big, but a credit to them. They were tough and made some plays. But just like we had a chance against North Texas to, you know, salt the game away, really. And boy, we shot a lot of free throws in the day in between, and came in today and shot a lot. And but you know, you miss the front end of a bonus, make 1 out of 2, and you're not gonna make them all. But those, when you get into these kind of games and you're trying to advance, every little thing matters, and so that certainly hurt.
Tony, this is a second straight game that Armands shot the ball really well. I know it's a long way away for next season, but do you like that he ends with that kind of momentum?
So I said, you know, the value of us, you know, being rewarded with an opportunity to play in the NIT was, you know, I thought, you know, today Cody wasn't, you know, he didn't have as strong of a game, but I thought Cody played well in the first 2 games. And I thought, well, that's good. And he played well, you know, against Louisville there. So it was good for him to kind of have a stronger finish. But Armands, for him to discover, you know, knocking down some shots, making some plays, that's invaluable experience to be in these tournament settings and to make some plays. Really only Kihei, and he didn't have a strong game today, you know, only Kihei has played in multiple postseason games. You know, Reese did last year, won in the ACC tournament, then we got shut down, and then won in the NCAA tournament after being quarantined for a week. So that was important for our guys to be in these kind of settings, and that was valuable. So some guys got some experience. Armands and Jaden had not played on teams that had been into the NIT or NCAA. So from that standpoint, it was good. And yes, of course, with Armands, you know, to see him make some of those shots and stretch the lead and you know, do that, I thought it was important.
Not a lot came easily for this team this year, but it still won 21 games, got to the quarters of the NIT. How do you, I know it's right in the moment, but how do you think you'll look back on this team in this season?
No, I think, you know, there's a few pivot points in the season where it could have gone either way, where it could have, you know, like we're losing our grip on it. I mean, as I said this before, we were that team that went into Duke and played really well and tough and beat Providence and Miami and played some quality basketball. And we were also that team that, you know, struggled at times early in the season and had trouble against North Carolina. And we were both of those, and, you know, we had a fight to be the better one. And so there's those times when, you know, you had to dust yourself off, get up, and just figure out a way. We struggled to shoot this year, and we still found ways to squeak them out. I mean, most of our games were squeakers. That's what they were, and the ones we won. And, you know, and I think they improved from start to finish, and they became tougher. I think this offseason is important. A lot of these young men are going to have to decide how committed, how hard they'll work, how much they'll improve their skills, how much tougher they can become, and how much they love it. And they got to take a step. They have to. They got some decisions to make about how badly they want to improve their game and then collectively. But they certainly improved throughout the year. And so, again, I would love to have a chance to play in the NCAA tournament, but we didn't earn that right. We were rewarded with this. We played 3 games. I would love to have gotten to that Madison Square Garden. We got to this spot with that other group and fell short. A valiant second half. I thought we played hard in the first half, struggled to score, and I didn't think our 4s and 5s played well. In the second half, at halftime, I challenged them. Get on the glass, block some shots, get second chance points, play. I said, we need you, and I think for the most part, they responded. I'll watch the film and see, you know, there's some calls that, you know, in these tight of games, you're like, oh, was that a foul? Was that offense? We'll watch those and see what happens. That stings because that hopefully, again, everybody's trying to do their best. But I hope it wasn't, we didn't lose out on some of that. But, again, they made the plays.
Coach, you mentioned a lot of squeakers this year. Getting stops down the stretch was kind of a theme in a lot of those. what kind of goes into trying to get stops in those critical last 3 or 4 minutes
Yeah.
that this team couldn't quite get over the hump with?
Right. I mean, you got to make some free throws, you got to make some offensive plays, but you got to come up with some big plays. And at times, either we fouled or a guy's hit a tough shot. Yeah, I mean, it's just that's what you. It's just got to be spread out, slide, and make a tough shot, and don't break down, don't yield. And usually, you know, at those times, guys are attacking, making plays. You know, there's those last 10 seconds, or, you know, there's some amazing shots, the Florida State, but you'd like to string together a few. You know, in this one, Cody got lifted a little bit, and that kid hit a tough shot. I wish he would have stayed down. The one, we played great defense, and then the guy hit a three on Jaden. Jaden was, you know, again, a little delay getting there, but the guys fought. And so you look at those, it's just maybe a touch better, a touch more connected. But I can't complain for the most part about our defense in this game. I think they fought and made it hard, and that was just two teams fighting it out, and kind of came down to who could make the free throws.
Tony, you've talked throughout the season about, you know, being proud of the guys for the way they would, you know, respond to a loss and come back and the way they would fight. I'm just curious, along the lines to what Jeff asked earlier, as you look back on this season, and again, you're still right in the moment, so I apologize for it, but I'm just curious, what will stand out to you about this season as you look forward? Because you guys typically, you know, you kind of take some lessons from the season that you've put into the offseason and going into recruiting and things like that in the portal and all that.
Yeah.
Just curious what will stand out to you, what kind of stands out to you about this season?
Yeah, I mean, the positive, as I said, they improved. Some guys found themselves. Some guys learned some valuable things. It's a positive. Even some of the hard things that they got to look in the mirror and say, hey, I got to go to work in the weight room. I got to improve my shot. I've got to, you know, take those. That's so important. And again, to be in these pressure cooker situations and the hard-fought ones. But I loved how resilient they were. I said it on the coach's radio show. They rejoiced when one guy did well. They're always so happy for each other. They're character young men, and I'll never forget. And I say all the time, and you know, you have to have young men you can lose with, and a staff, and they were that. There's a lot of expectations and pressure on these young men, whether they put it on themselves, whether it's from the outside. Where this program has been the last 8 years, it's been at a level that is second to none. And so when you come in and maybe you don't have quite that kind of talent or that kind of experience, and you're just trying to grow, that's a lot to live up to, and they're trying to do that. So, you know, just watching them, no matter what, show up, and very compliant, very good young men. They want to win, and they pull for each other, and they show up. Again, I think we have to improve in some areas, improve our shooting. We got to get tougher, stronger, but they took steps in that direction.
What kind of timetable do you have for the guys staying, guys leaving, your roster for next year? Do you sit back for a while, or do you immediately go into that?
Yeah, welcome to the new age of college basketball, right? The transfer portal and decisions to be made. You know, you always, when the season's done, you have your player meetings, and you know, I just think some guys maybe have decisions made in their mind, what they're going to do, what they want to do. You sit down and you're honest, you know, and you just talk and share things. This is what I see, and they'll tell you, and those decisions. I mean, guys that maybe aren't planning on coming back, if there are some, you know, I think the sooner they do that for their sake and everyone's sake, the better. And then you go from there. But we'll do that fairly soon. I don't have. Not yet. We'll talk. I mean, I think we'll get a feel for all that stuff, and it's a little, you know, I think let the dust settle, the smoke clear, or the body cool, or however you want to say it here with some of these. So we just had a tough loss, but certainly sooner than later. And again, I always want the best for these young men. They'll always be part of this year, and this team will never be the same now. You know, I tried to teach them to appreciate that and honor each other.
We've got 3 quick ones, Caroline, Mike, and Chris.
So kind of amalgamation of all those questions, but do you see you could have potential for multiple starters returning next season, plus the incoming class, obviously new faces, but do you think of the end of this season, the way that you saw that growth could be a potential like jumping point, launch point for the season, the off season, and seeing a little bit more continuity for next year?
I hope so. I do. You know, there's no substitute for experience. We must improve. Every player that returns in this program, they better take a step in terms of commitment and in their strength and their ability and commit and work. If they don't want to, they shouldn't be here. Don't want them. but I believe they will. That's the entry level for this level, this high level. So they got to decide, and nothing's guaranteed. Playing time's not guaranteed. You work, you come together. We were shorthanded this year with a tight rotation, and so guys got invaluable experience. I hope there'll be more competition next year for playing time, which is healthy. And again, I want to be real with the new guys coming in. Everybody's all excited about this new class. They'll have their work to do. It's hard coming in as a first year, and you got to have patience. And if they're good enough, they'll play. If they're not ready, they'll improve and they'll get ready at some point, just like the guys in this program. But certainly, those guys that come back that played a lot, they should be better. The guys that didn't play that much this year, eye-opening experience, and I expect hopefully some good continuity. But to Doug's question, you don't know in college basketball now. You really don't, and it's kind of sad, but it's reality.
Tony, one specifically on this game, that the last shot with Kihei, he's hit so many big ones for you.
Yep.
What was the thinking? Just, this is our senior, let's see what he can get?
Well,
or?
there's 5, if they made it, there's 5 seconds, and you wanted obviously to attack. You had 5 dribbles attack, and it's stuff we've run before, and it was without Reese, we do some things usually a little different, but they blocked it pretty good. He got down there. That one's hard. It was him, or if he saw something. There was a couple options if someone was open, but and I didn't think we had enough time to get it across, have court and call timeout. It was just, I probably wanted him to get up. Maybe he could have pulled up, but I'd have to watch that and see. But it wasn't like you're shooting. It's like, no, attack. And if someone's open, see it, but you got to get one up on the rim, and we got to get, they got it. That kid's a heck of a shot blocker. I think he got it 21, right? He was up there. And I thought we got one the play before, and I looked like someone, I don't know if Caden grabbed the rim, which you can't do, I don't know, but I thought we got one too. It was on the board. Bach, you said that, but I guess there was a foul, so we'll look at all that. That will sting if there wasn't. There wasn't? Well, that will sting. And that's, again, no comment. And again, and Reese's too, but much respect to, Coach does a great job. He's been there, I talked to him before, I don't know Coach well, but 15 years he's been at St. Bonaventure, and he has, 5 tough seniors and how they play, and they played. They made their free throws, they made their shots, they guarded hard, so nothing but respect for that. But we'll watch it and see, and, maybe I'm just we'll see.